morning. It gives me immense pleasure to start my new course of Department of Aeronautical Engineering, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. This course is Aircraft Stability and Control. Before I actually start my topic of this course, I should first explain about what is the course about, how this course description, course objectives, program objectives, and mapping of these things are done. So in this my topic, I will be covering about outcome-based education. Then I will go for the Bloom taxonomy, discussion on course description, course objectives, course outcomes, program outcomes, and mapping of course objectives and program outcomes. So in these main headings, I will be discussing about the course Aircraft Stability and Control. So before this semester, we have learned the flight mechanics. It is also called aircraft performance. And we also learn about aerodynamics and introduction to aerodynamics in our previous semesters. Those concepts will also go along with this course. So before we start this course, the learners are advised to revisit the aircraft performance and aerodynamics, especially the low speed aerodynamics, where the only basic forces moments are handled. So my first topic is outcome-based education. Outcome-based education or outcome-based education, outcomes-based education, it is called OBE, is an educational theory that bases each part of an education system around goals. So here we can say that first we have to set the goals or outcomes, and then we should try to achieve these goals as much as possible. By the end of the educational experience, each student should have achieved the goal of the given course. There is no single specified style of teaching or assessment in OBE. So we cannot specify a direct method of teaching or assessment in this system. Instead, classes, opportunities, and assessment should all help students achieve the specified outcomes. The role of the faculty adapt into instructor, trainer, facilitator, and or mentor based on the outcomes targeted. So here the faculty is not only the just teaching. Your faculty has to be like an instructor, or it should train some software or some skills, some workshop practices, some machine operation. Also, your teacher should be as a facilitator to facilitate all the available resources. You should find out where the resources are there and try to provide these resources for the student so that the students can develop their skills, develop their knowledge, and develop their confidence for the future endeavor of the surroundings. And in this, total things are based on the outcome targeted. So means outcome we have to first decide, and then we have to work to get on that. So before we go for OBE or outcome based education, we should also understand the Bloom taxonomy, a very famous educationist who has given some thought, and he has given a cone which is given in this diagram. And this, you can see in this cone, the bottom is quite big, and as you go towards the peak, the size of this thing is reducing. This indicates that in the same level of learning, we have to proceed one by one, so that a student should develop systematically from lower level of understanding to the higher level of thought. Here we can see that in this triangle, the last one here at the ground level or the first level is the remember. Remember means recall facts and basic concepts. So once we talk about the remember, a student should recall whatever he has learned before. It has to reproduce like a definition or facts of the concept. The student should be able to remember, and as and when it is asked, it should produce. The verbs involved in this remember, or the lowest level of the pyramid, is here recall facts. So in this, define, duplicate, list, memorize, repeat, and state. These are the few. There are some more are there, but here are some important verbs which we have to use for setting up the goal. Like define the Newton's law, define the Bernoulli's theorem, define the magnetic flux, define the aerodynamic center, like this, or duplicate or list the component of the aircraft. Like this, we have to give the questions in such a way that these verbs to be used, and if these verbs are used, this indicates that it is a remember or the lowest level of the learning pyramid. The second one is understand. Understand is the second level. So if you are very much thorough about the basic facts, you are able to recall the facts or the definitions and all, then whether you are able to explain ideas or concept or not. If I ask the Newton's law, only if you are able to define, it is a first level, and if you are able to explain that at what inertial frame your Newton's laws are working and how this mass, acceleration and forces, inertia, action and reactions are working, if you are able to explain, then it is called the explain or describe or discuss, explain, identify, locate, recognize, report, select and translate. These will come in this level of understanding. The third one is, and this you can see area is reducing, so means the percentage of your course description, the highest percentage is remember, then understand, then followed by apply. You know the equations and all, but whether you are able to apply on the real case or not. So I will give the example related to my course only. So if you are able to explain about Newton's, you can recall or define the Newton's law, you can explain the Newton's law, but whether you are able to execute, implement, solve the equations or the numericals, able to demonstrate physically, interpret the results and all, if you are able to do this, it means you are able to apply. You can get the knowledge of application. Then above the application, it comes to analyze. Analyze means draw connection among ideas. For the one Newton's law, assume it is a second law, you can apply. But whether you are able to analyze or not, you can reconnect with some other theory, or you can differentiate between one to another. Are you able to relate or compare the Newton's second law with different types of motions? If you are able to do, and you can find some result and try to plot this thing, then it is called the analyze. The second top is evaluate and justify a stand or decision. So in this, if you have find some result by the help of an analysis, then you have to evaluate and you should give the final decision that out of these three results, which one is justifying our decision. Try to appraise and argue, judge, select, support, value and critique the analysis which you have done, and you have got something, the result, whether you can do appraise, argue or not, then you have to justify your decision out of four results, which one is very much suiting for that case. And last but not the least is the create. Create means produce a new thing, produce a new topic, produce a new theory, design a new item, assemble, construct, develop, formulate, investigate. These all things will come in the final stage of the Bloom's taxonomy. As a BTech student, I mostly prefer you should be minimum in this level. Even this remembering is not on the BTech level. So 80% of the students should be in this. Remaining 10 should be here. Remaining 5 here, and maybe here 1 or 2%. Okay. So like this, you should go ahead and try to develop idea as per this diagram. Now I am discussion on course description. A course description is a brief summary of the significant learning experiences for a course. Course descriptions appear in individual course outline and in the program of studies for individual program. Course descriptions should be student-centered rather than teacher-centered or the course-centered. So always you should think about the student, not for the teacher benefit or for the course benefit. Because after all, student should develop the skill. Use of brief outcome-based descriptive phrases of active verb like design, create, plan, analyze. These things you have to put as a verb. Be clear, concise and easy to understand. Detail significant learning experiences and benefit a student can expect. Align with the outcome identified in the rest of the course outline. So in these lines, we should go ahead with the preparation of course description. Now I will go for the course objective, which is for this aircraft stability and control. First, I am going to define what is the course objectives. A course objective specifies a behavior, skill or action that student can demonstrate if they have achieved mastery of the objective. So it is the duty of the faculty that he or she should make such type of objective which it should be visible by the behavior of the student, skill or their action. They should be able to show that yes, they have learned the things. Objectives need to be written in such a way that they are measurable by some sort of assessment. So it should be measurable, means we have to take some assessment how the student is able to perform or not. Everything in the course should be worked together to ensure students master the course objective. I have mentioned here some course objective. Here I have mentioned the 4. Here the fundamental knowledge on static stability of aircraft in multiple directional motion with their relationship for critical application in flight vehicle. The aircraft equation of motion to correlate qualitatively with potential application in aircraft stability in different degree of freedom. The method of optimizing the aircraft equations of motion and its derivative for aircraft dynamic stability in various flight modes. The utilization of advances of flight dynamic and control in design and development of modern airplane control system. Next, I want to go for the course outcomes. So these objectives are set for the student. The teacher or the faculty has to set some objectives for the student, whether how much the teacher is able to implement. As per that, he or she has to put on the course descriptor. Next level is outcomes. These outcomes are based on the student. You have given the objectives. Out of that objective, how much students are able to get it. So course outcomes, it is called COs, are central to any course curriculum. They articulate to students, faculty and other stakeholders what students will achieve in each course and how their learning will be measured. A learning outcome LO is a measurable, observable and specific statement that clearly indicates what a student should know and be able to do as a result of learning. Here I have shown only few course outcomes due to the scarcity of the space. So only I have shown here 4, but like this we have the, we have the 12 here. So CO1 is recall. It is the first remembering level. So remember, recall the concept of static stability in longitudinal, lateral and directional modes to be used for different aircraft stability condition. Describe the state of an equilibrium, control and trim inputs required for an aircraft in static, longitudinal and lateral directional stability. Recognizes the understanding level. This is the second level in the Bloom's taxonomy. And the fourth one is identify stick fixed and stick free condition for neutral point with an appropriate static margin, control force and CG limitation. So here this application of the previous thoughts are given. Whether you are able to apply this, the motion of the moment of the CG on the relation with aerodynamic center, if you are able to do and you can implement in the aircraft or any solving the problem related to the stability, then it is called the application. Interpret the specific coupling between lateral and directional static stability of the aircraft and its influence on other motion of a typical aircraft. It is also understanding. Construct the mathematical model of aircraft motion in longitudinal, lateral and directional cases for establishing the status of the flight vehicle stability. So it is apply. So like this, apply, understand and analyze is here. Two are analyze. So it is the fourth level. So here I have put only remember, understand, apply and the analyze, because these four levels are sufficient for the undergraduate level of the students. This course knowledge competency level I have put here the same out of 12. This you can see here that remember is only 1, understand is more, it is a 6, apply is 3, analyze is 2. So out of 12 I have distributed in this way so that a required level of knowledge or the skill of the student can be achieved. Program outcome assessment, how you are going to assess. So here we have the PO1, it is mentioned here, and PO2, PO4 and PO here I have mentioned 5. But there are number of POs are 12, but here I have just mentioned only 5. And how these things are assessed, that is the important parameter. So here we may conduct the CIE examination, quiz competition or AAT. We are doing this, and by that we are able to assess the engineering knowledge, apply the knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering, fundamental and an engineering specialization to the solution of the complex engineering problem. Here also, and here if you see program outcomes like conduct investigation of complex problems. So here you can do some seminar, conferences and research paper understanding of that. And here the last one is PO5, modern tool uses, create, select and apply appropriate technique for this, and we can do by the help of assignment or discussion in the class. We also can map, we need to map the course outcomes, program outcomes and program specific outcomes. These things we have to map, and this we can see that how this course outcomes are mapped with the program outcomes. And this you can see here that CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4, CO12, and here also we have the 1 to 12, and PSO's program outcome we have 1, 2, 3. So only in this you can see PSO2 and PSO3 are matching here, only this here, this you can see here, 1 is here and these things are here. So PSO2 and PSO3 are mapped here with respect to the, if you see the CO1 engineering problem, everywhere it is matching with the program outcomes. PO2 is only matching with CO3, CO4 and this thing. PO3 is not at all matching, PO4 is matching, PO5 is matching, 6, 7, then PO9 is matching here, PO10 is matching here, like this. So those who are matching, we have to put here some symbol so that it is showing that it is a mapped properly. So in this way, course outcomes and program outcomes and also program specific outcomes, PSOs, are to be mapped, and also we can also give the percentage, how much percentage of these things are mapped. If we are able to do that type of things, it is given our course descriptive that how much percentage, 50%, 60%, 70, 80. If all the parameters are program outcomes are matching with the course outcomes, we can say it is 100%. If out of 10, only 7 are matching, we can say the 70% as per that. So some program outcomes like PO1 are having only 3, and like PO5 and these things are having 10. So out of 10, how many are matching? So accordingly, we can plot here and we can discuss that how much percentage of our these mappings are done. So I want to conclude here that the course objective, course outcomes, program outcomes have to be set in such a way that the students should be able to obtain the masterly on the course. The faculty, instructor, mentor have such approach that the student get sufficient knowledge, skill, and able to apply or evaluate the topic by its own, and the industry should get the skilled force to work with. So here our objective is not to just give the teaching. Our objective is to give sufficient knowledge on the topic, and also we should be able to develop the skills so that a student can perform better. So in this way, we have to assess the situation, and we should make that students should get the sufficient knowledge. These are I have taken the references, textbooks. I have not, but only I have taken from some links from this Google. I have searched and I have find out this. Okay, so thank you very much, and I will be continuing the aircraft stability and control, and my next class will be introduction to aircraft stability and control. Please be tuned and hope it will be very, very interesting for the next course. Thank you very much.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.